Alright people, we're just going to do a quick one here. We're going to cover just some React basics. You've probably heard that getting started with React, there's a lot of setup to do, and there is. The great thing is that they came out with a thing called Create React app, which is a command line tool that basically sets up a whole React project for you. Saves a lot of time and work, time and effort, and it's great. And for learning, just for learning, it may be a little overkill. I've seen some tutorials where they put like a CDN link in the top, like you do with including Bootstrap sometimes, and that's good too. But then they're always like, oh, never really do this because So here's this. This is great. Let's site codesandbox.io. It's basically well, it's a bunch of different projects you can create, but the React one is basically this create React app, like right in the browser. Okay, so let's get started here. I'm going to hop right in, and again, I'm expecting that this is not necessarily a beginner video, but so maybe you've played with taking a quick look at React. I'm not going to get too deep. We're going to just do some basic stuff here. Well, this hello code sandbox start editing should be showing up here already, so I don't know why it's not. There it goes. Okay, so in its most basic form, you have React takes you're going to have a function, right? You see this function here, app, that returns a piece of HTML, a chunk of HTML. Okay, so you can see that here. There's an app, all it does is return this div. Okay, so if you were going to dynamically do that with vanilla JavaScript, you'd have to do a whole bunch of create element and then append element and all this stuff. With React, it's much more straightforward, right? You can just do something like this, and then these are all going to be reusable. They call them components, right? So, for instance, let me just show you. I'm just going to copy this down. Okay, we're going to call it something else because you can't have two of the same. So basically making a component, a reusable component called myDiv. Okay, right now it's not doing anything, we're just declaring it, right? So now that I have this though, I can include it in the page here. There it goes, reusable, right? Look at that. So you see what we did there? We basically took this component, copied it, and put it here. So let's copy that down once or twice. So you can see how reusable it's because I put 1, 2, 3 times, just reusable. So now, so you can add properties to this. This is, if you think of it like this, like an HTML element, like a div, you can have properties, arguments and things like this, like class, or you can add a style or various things like that. Basically, you're making your own custom element. Like, so you have divs and h1s and paragraphs and all that stuff. Basically, what this lets you do is create your own. So we're calling it myDiv, and what myDiv is made up of is a chunk of HTML. Okay, so everywhere you see myDiv, and you do it with this self-closing tag, everywhere you're going to see myDiv, it's going to be replaced with this. Okay, hope that's pretty clear. Now we can add some information in here. When you want to add something in here, you do it in curly brackets, right? Anytime you, because basically this is all JavaScript. It looks like HTML, it's actually JavaScript. It's JSX. Again, I'm not going to go too deep in all of that. We're just going to show you some basic stuff. So here we're doing JavaScript. When you want to show JavaScript or run JavaScript inline there, you put it inside the brackets. We're going to say, actually, to give it the property, we'll give it a name. Well, we're going to call it name equals, we're going to give it a string name. So now, in this, alright, so we're giving this a property called name, right? So now, in here, I'm going to tell it that it's going to get a property. Okay, call it props. So now we can say, we can refer to that property. Okay, we can say props.name. So we gave this function props, and then we gave it the name, and it's only in the first one because that's the only one we added the property to, right? That's a silly one. Let's put it an actual name, right? So see what we did there? And these, since I didn't give these a property, it's not showing up, so I could add the property here. And it'll have it also. Right? See what's going on here? So let's get rid of this little. And let's add something, a name to the third one. Oh, that's bad. I can't use single quotes and double quotes. Let's make it all the same. People will be mad at me. Alright, so very reusable but still customizable, right? So everywhere we're seeing the my div, we're doing this, and here we're able to add different things to it, right? So by referring to this property, this is a property, has the property name, and here's the value of Alex. So we're telling each one that, hey, you're going to have properties, right? And then, well, what property? Name, okay? So you could have other properties in there too. That could be an array full of properties, or it could be an object full of properties, right? So you can add a lot. It can be much more complex than this. So speaking of getting more complex, we could also, let's see, what if we had an array up here? Let's call it state. It's an array with Alex, Bob, and Sally. We're going to move that in a minute. That's not what I want to do. If we want to have our app to have state in it, meaning and have stuff that changes in it. So here, this is hard-coded, right? We're just adding a string in. That's not all that amazing, right? No big deal. Let's say if we want to have a function or a component that has state that changes, we don't just make it a function. You have to make it an object or a class, right? So you have to change this to and then you have to do one other thing. Oh, what is that? Come on. Okay, every class element has to have a render function. That's like the one required function. So this return statement will move inside of here. And then this should be inside of here also. Okay, so these names are still coming from being hard-coded. We're not using them here yet. What if we did something like the state is just an array, right? So look at that. So this dot state dot 0 or this dot state dot 1, and it becomes Bob, right? So it's still almost the same as being hard-coded. What we can do that makes it more interesting. What if we did? All right, so we have an array, right? Let's and this is all JavaScript, right? So we said if you want to include JavaScript, we put it inside of curly brackets, right? So what if we did, knowing that that state is an array, what if we did this dot state dot map, right? Which is an array function. We've used that before, I'm sure. Takes an iterator and callback function. What if it returns my div where the name is equal to, what do we call it? No, not to the item, right? What happens now? Something, I'm not doing something right here. What am I doing wrong here? This does state that map. I'm not closing it. That's the problem. Still not doing it right. Name equals. Oh, that's this. So let's get rid of that. Okay, so you see what we did here? Let's get rid of these now. Instead of making them all separate, we took this array and we mapped over it because we know we have these items, right? And so it's taking this array, and for each one of them, each item in this array, we're making a div with that name in it. So if I just added something to the state here, it should, look at that, just automatically added a whole nother div. So you could probably see how this could be very, very useful. Let's say you had an API calling an array of whatever, usernames, emails, dogs, I don't know, whatever. It wouldn't matter how many things you're getting back. You could put them, programmatically put them all on the page. Okay, so hopefully you can see, even in this just super simple example, I'm barely doing much of anything here. You can see, if you think about some of the uses for this, you can see how powerful React could be. I don't want to get crazy here today because it's very late. I just wanted to do a quick video to talk about the very basics. Alex, Bob, Sally, and Jane, right? Pretty cool. Yeah, I think that's good enough for today. Nice quick one. 14 minutes. Basics of React. Cool.